皆さんこんにちは。セックスを美しく深く皆さんと探求している今ここのkokoです。デスティン・ゲレックさんをお迎えしています。彼は、本当にね、もっと深い意味で男らしさっていうのを追求して、それを世界中でいろいろ説いている、セックスコーチであり The Evolved Masculine という会社をやっていたり本も書いているエキスパートです。日本の皆さんにもぜひともメッセージを伝えてくださるということでお呼びしています。デスティンさん、よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
奥さん日本人なのでちょっとね日本語もできるんですけれども、第1部第2部ぜひ見てみてください。そしてこの第3部では彼がねとっても大切にしているメッセージ、そのね進化する男性性のためには女性のこと、そして女性らしさ、女らしさっていうことをもっと深く男性が学ばなきゃいけない、理解しなきゃいけないっていうねことを言ってらっしゃって、そのことについて聞いてみましょう。So, Destin, your third pillar of your message is understanding women and the feminine. I'm particularly interested as a woman how the evolved masculine sees that. What do you mean by understanding women and the feminine? What are they not understanding at the moment?
Um, most things. I a lot of men struggle with why does she do the things that she does, and what does she even really want from me?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I've spent an enormous amount of time, energy, and resources into trying to answer those questions, as they caused a lot of pain in my life prior. And don't get me wrong, on one level, she is an enigma, an unknowable mystery. And there's a beauty in that. Because as I came to understand that if I did fully know her, understand her fully, would she be so fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
so part of it is an embracing of that mystery.
Yep.
While at the same time, stay committed to the pursuit. It's much like how humanity has spent all of existence trying to understand this existence.
Sure.
And yet, after thousands, if not tens of thousands of years, what we understand about this universe and life itself is a drop in the bucket of what we don't know and what we don't understand. And yet, look at all we have come to know and understand.
Mm-hmm.
I've come to view my relationship to the feminine in the same way.
Okay.
A pursuit that is always worthy, to never cease, while holding that there will always be more that I do not know than that which I do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring it to one huge thing that I've come to understand about women and the feminine from that listening is one of the things that women seek more than anything, or desire, crave from men more than anything, is attunement. They desire for a man to see her,
Mm-hmm.
hear her, feel her,
Mm-hmm.
who she is, what she's experiencing, and to be responsive to that.
Yeah.
Again, something that I believe the Japanese are better at than most Americans.
Sure. Yeah.
Reading the ma,
Yeah.
it's part of your culture.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah.
You have words to describe people who don't read the ma.
Yeah.
Here, it's more common to not read the ma.
Yeah.
So men have a tendency to be very locked up in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
We intellectualize everything, including women and sex. These are things to figure out.
Yeah.
And women don't want to be figured out as much as they want to be felt. And so likewise in sex, or whether we're talking about like intercourse or just the experience of sexual tension, attraction, all of that, the practice is in getting out of your mind, getting into your body, which I know for some men that's easier said than done, but it is a practice and a path. The practice feeling into your body, because it's only from being able to feel into your body that you're going to be able to feel into her body.
Yeah.
But she is constantly communicating with you, and only a small portion of which are with her words. There are all these communications that are happening non-verbally, and by you as a man can learn to attune to those communications, to notice all these little things that you might not be currently noticing. And as you learn to notice those, it's a language that you can understand and respond to moment, so much so that she can feel like you're reading her mind because you're reading her body so well. Now, what I just spoke to on one level is a bit of that advanced.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I believe it helps to know that that is a possibility, so that at least you're walking in the right direction. I quite honestly, I think that much of what we are programmed with as men, porn being a big piece of it, there's no attunement in that programming.
No.
So as that combined with video games, quite honestly, we are instead learn so much about, okay, if I just figure out the right combination of buttons to press, an orgasm will pop out.
That's true.
And then I'll get my reward, either my orgasm reward or her orgasm, aka the validation of my ego. I'm a good man. I'm a good lover. I was able to make her come.
Yeah, I did a good job. I achieved something.
And there really is this place beyond either of those. And it starts with cultivating presence,
Love that.
deepening your own body, and then being able to just pay deeper attention. Attunement really is about paying deeper attention.
Yeah.
And the more that you're stuck in your head about what you're doing, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out how to get her to have sex with you, or in your own self-judgment or criticism of what's wrong with me and how I'm not enough or X, Y, Z, you're missing out on what is actually happening within her.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, this is not just for men, but for women to watch and show it to their partners, right?
Sure. Yeah.
もう本当にこの男性の方だけじゃなくてね、女性の方もこれで見て、ぜひパートナーに見せてあげたらいいなって、もう本当にそうだなと思って、もう 100% 同感と思って聞いてたんですけど、でも、彼が言うように、それもちろんわかるけども、でも男性の皆さん、いや、そう言われても今までそういうことしてこなかったし難しいよなっていうところもあると思うんですよね。じゃあ具体的にどんな風にしたらいいのか、デスティンはどういう旅を経てここまで来たのかっていうのを聞いてみようかな。I agree 100%. I'm just nodding so much. But at the same time, like you were saying too, it's not as easy than it's said, right? Like so can you take us on your journey where you started and how you became to cultivate presence? Like for instance, like you meditate, or how did it happen? Like and some practical tips for the men who are watching. How can
For
they?
those who
Yeah.
know English, read my book. You'll get all these answers.
Sorry, say it again. Sir?
For those who are comfortable with English, read my book and you'll get all these
Definitely,
answers.
definitely, yes, definitely, yeah. 英語がわかる人は僕の本を読んでください。ね、そりゃそうだよね。But just in a nutshell, if I can ask, if we can cheat a little bit.
Well, first was realizing that I was stuck in my head, that I was disconnected from my body. And for me, my path involved, I got into a lot of massage and body work, and both giving and receiving. And through that, I started to feel my body. Before I was living here.
Yeah.
The body just kind of got me around and started to embody this body.
Yeah.
Meditation has definitely been part of my life. I have often struggled with maintaining a regular meditation practice in the traditional sense, but I have found practices that do really work for me, including sexual practices that really work for me. Sex is an incredible dojo for cultivating presence because the rewards are so great. If you're going to be here now anywhere, isn't sex where you'd want to do it?
Totally. 100%. Yeah.
So here's a great tool for people to work with as well, is your 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, taste, are gateways or portals to deeper presence.
Yep.
When you are tuned into your senses, you're not in your mind. When you're in your mind, you're not tuned into your senses. So you can take a moment now to, for example, just come into your sense of sight. Take in the environment around you. What can you notice? What little details can you focus in on that perhaps you just weren't paying attention to before? They were here, you just weren't noticing.
Yeah.
Shift to your sense of hearing. What sounds are in your environment aside from my voice, Koko's voice? Do you notice even the sound of your own breathing? The separation between your inhales and your exhales. If you really tune in, you might be able to hear or feel your own heartbeat. It's even more advanced. Are there other sounds in your environment? Likewise with your sense of smell, your sense of taste, sense of feeling, the feeling of your clothes on your skin, and how as you breathe, they move around your skin.
Yeah.
The feeling of the ground beneath you. When you're outdoors, the feeling of wind brushing up against you, and how that's different on your face versus on your clothes. There are all these little sensory communications that are occurring all the time that we learn to ignore while we spend our times up in here. So just tuning in can help you get more present. In the bedroom, take in her beauty. Notice the little qualities to her skin, complexion changes, little freckles or moles, changes in lighting on her skin, the smell of her hair, her sweat, her sex, the sounds that she's making, the sounds of her breathing, the sounds of your own, the taste, whether it's the taste of her skin, her sweat, her tongue, her pussy, or maybe keeping little berries or chocolates near the bed to add to the sense of taste. There's so many ways to play with our senses. The feeling of her body underneath yours, as well as the feeling of her body against your fingertips. Tuning into these sensations within your body can help get you out of your head.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a really practical thing that we can all do. And I believe, it's definitely like you're saying, it's not just like the bedroom mastery, but how the evolved masculine can really perform and show up in their best way in the society and the world. And we need it more than ever right now. Yeah.
It's being called for. I really believe that underneath it all, including all of the various forms of like backlash that certain women's voices are bringing out into the world, underneath all of it, the call out is we just want to feel safe. We just want to feel safe to be We want to feel seen for who we are and the value that we have to bring to this world.
Yes, definitely.
And that's what I believe is the primary piece that's being asked of the evolved masculine, is to create a world in which women and the feminine, in all beings, including the feminine within ourselves as men, is safe to blossom and flourish into the fullness of her power.
Yeah. So great, Destin. Just to close, I have, so many other things I would love to ask you, and for your message to be delivered to Japanese way in different forms, not just the interview, but like workshops or retreats or your books, your audios, and as much as I'm inspired and learning from you, I still have this kind of like, but will they get it? Because there's like a huge gap between where the Japanese men are right now and what you are telling us. And maybe some of the viewers might be thinking, well, again, he's a Western guy, and he's a good-looking guy. He has a nice business. He figured out all this, but it's not for me. Like, where can I start? What can I do? I'm very lost. I have to get into the packed train and go to this office and do the things that I don't want to do. And what can I do at the end of the day? I just watch porn and jack off. So just to, like a last message for inspiration, if you will.
Yeah, the fact that you're here at all, I believe, says something. There is something within you that is seeking something more, that knows that there is something more possible, and it is ready for it. So know that. Continue to explore the rest of what Koko has to offer, as she can meet you more easily than where you're at. And know that while it is a step-by-step journey, every step of that journey opens your world up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Opens you up to greater feelings of confidence, greater feelings of comfort in your own skin, and greater pleasure in the bedroom. So never mind how long the journey may seem. It doesn't matter how far you go on it. Every step that you take, it's going to make your life better and more enjoyable. Enjoy the journey.
はい、ありがとうございます。本当に道は長いかもしれないけども、皆さんね、このビデオを見たからにはデスティのメッセージを受け取って、女性の私からも本当にお願いしたい。これはすごく楽しい旅だし、絶対に必要な旅だし、もしかしたらこのビデオにただエロとかね、なんかこう刺激になるものと思って見てきた方もいるかもしれないけども、最後に見たからにはこれは本当に新しいチャプターの始まり、扉の開けて、もっと本当の意味で自分にも自信がもう 100% あるし、そういう自分で社会にショーアップできる、いろんないいパートナーとも出会ったりとか、奥さんともっといいセックスをできるために、自分がもっと輝いて生きるために必要な道だと思うから、一緒にやっていきましょう。ぜひともこれね、もうデスティンの使命で、彼はね、世界中でこういうことを話していて、日本にも来てくれると思うし、彼の質問だったりとか、このビデオを見て感じたこと、自分がこんな風にやっていきたいってこと、ぜひコメント欄に書いていただいて、みんなでつながってやっていきましょう。最後まで聞いていただいてありがとうございました。So I asked the viewers to write comments, what they thought about it, or where they can start, how they're inspired, any questions to you. So let's continue the dialogue. We welcome you to come to Japan and inspire us more.
I look forward to it. ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。ジャンクなセックスはもういらない。もっと深く美しくセックスも人生も深めていきたい人、ぜひともメルマガに登録してください。そっちで会いましょう。Love you.